Hey YouTube. All right, we're back with the block production node video that you've been asking for and I have not delivered. I'm very sorry. I've been spending too much time in Margaritaville and not enough time making videos. So let's have a quick look. What should we do first? I rebuilt a Cardano Relay 1, Relay 2, Relay 1, and a producer. And so for this tutorial, in case this is your first time watching, we're using DigitalOcean. So these servers are located on the cloud. So there are 3 cloud servers on DigitalOcean. I have a video 1 shows you how to set those up. So if you haven't done that yet, go ahead and check out video number 1. I'll put a link in the description. Okay, the next thing is we are using CoinCashew. Their tutorial is excellent. So let me just have a quick show you. So just type CoinCashew Cardano, and it will pop up at the top. And this is, I think, by far the best tutorial online. They've updated it. Oh, it looks like, they updated it today. Yay. Okay, so that's been updated. This is good. So I was using a older copy, and just so happens Cardano, like literally today, I received an email, or maybe late last night, that they had updated from 1.25.1. So I'd actually already made these videos, but I had to redo them. So before you start building ever, so maybe you find this video 3 months from now, and maybe these guys haven't updated their tutorial in a little while. It might be an older version. Always come and just Google Cardano node version. Just type that, and the number 1 thing will be this GitHub. It's the IOHK. Is their GitHub, and you'll just see Cardano node 1.261. So you always want to, and so yeah, it was released yesterday. So you want to always obviously build the newest node, because if you build an old node, it won't work. Okay, so that's my public service announcement. Let's get started. So I've already done numbers 1 and 2. Okay, so I skipped through that. So now we are going to configure the node. So I'm going to do the relays and the block producer all together, so it's easy. So for the beginning here, the block producer's separate in number 4. So all right, configure the nodes. Let's do this. So click here, paste it in, and we can do this. I'm just going to kind of go from tab to tab and just shoot that in there. Each of them, I'll have to concentrate, make sure I don't skip any steps. Okay, so I went backwards. All right, let's go left or right. All right, so this step here is just getting the JSON files. JSON files are similar to like XML files. Essentially, JSON files are just config files. So it doesn't take very long to do this step. Okay. That one's done. That one's done. And this one's done. All right. So paste that in there. Paste it in there. And paste it in there. Okay. Back to 1. All right. Update the variables. Bash. All right. Okay. Actually, I'm just going to go off on a tangent just for a second. Let's go back up to number 2 and say you were, so right here when you're building, this is the step where if there's a new version and you want to use this tutorial, this is the step you have to change. Just this one line. So what you do is just open up just a text file, copy this, right, and paste it. So, and then just update whatever Maybe we're on 127.1 or whatever. And so instead of, you know, you just quickly edit it before when you're doing this step. So just make sure you edit that one line if you're having to use this tutorial at a later date and they haven't updated it yet. Okay, so I just wanted to bring that up. So we're going to be using the text file a little bit today. Okay, so let's go back down. Okay, so configure the nodes. We've done these steps. Now configure the block producer node. You guys can read this. The only real difference between the block producer and the relays kind of act as your firewall. The block producer doesn't actually attach to anyone. You see the picture here. Your producer attaches to your relays, and your relays talk to the other relays and get all the information and then pass it back to your block producer. So you got this. And you don't make your block producer's IP ever known to the network. Only your IPs of your relay nodes are known. Okay. So the big thing on your block producer has the keys. So there's different sets of keys. And there's certificates and payment address and a bunch of different other things, but so they all have the same code. They all have the Cardano node on them, the relay and the producer. They have the Cardano CLI command line interface. So the servers actually aren't that different. It's just you configure the block producer just a little bit different. Okay, so up until this step, right up to 1, 2, and 3. These three guys are all the exact same. So I could like change my mind and say, oh, let's make relay 2 the block producer. I mean, these are just names right now. Now we're actually going to configure them differently. The relays are going to get configured differently, and the block producers go. Okay, so let's configure it. Up here it says block producer node. Go ahead and copy that, and so it wants to know the addresses of our relay nodes. Okay, go over to here and we'll paste it in here. And so we're going to grab this section right there, copy that again, put a comma after this guy, and a space, and then return, and then plonk this guy back in. And these don't really matter if they're, but you can tab it out or space it over if you want. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so now we want to put in our relay nodes. Okay, so our relay nodes addresses, hopefully you've written them down. I have to quickly check back and see what mine are. I don't remember. Okay, so keep the quotation marks, but get rid of these. Okay, so 15989. So put in relay 1 for you. This is my relay 1's IP. Okay, let me just double check that. It should be right. And then make sure I got the right one. And then relay 2 is 159.89.38.114. And okay, so then we can copy this and go back to our block. Make sure we're on our producer, and you can paste it now. Hit enter. And port not found. Oh, that was a bit of fail. It didn't actually copy this. Let's try it again. Okay, now it worked. We should double check that since I made a bit of a boo-boo. So sudo nano mainnet. Mainnet. Is it dash topology? I think it's dash topology .json. Oops, I should try and type it correctly. And what's my password? So the nano commands just you edit text files. I just want to double check to make sure this is correct. We probably should go in and double check anyways. It helps you, it color codes it for you, so if it's correct. So the address This is good. This is correct. The port actually doesn't have quotes. The valency doesn't have quotes, so this is good. This is all correct. We have the correct amount. We have the comma after the first one. You don't need a comma here. Don't put a comma there. So everything looks good. So to get out of that, so just go Command X, Control X or Command X if you're on Mac. Okay, so that step is done. Go to your relay, okay? Actual relay, make sure you're on your relay. Copy this, click here, paste it, hit enter. Then go sudo nano mainnet topology.json, okay? And it wants me to put in my password. You see, it's we need to put in our block producer. You have to actually, okay, get over here. Whoops. Okay, backspace. Sound effects are free. Okay, block producer 15989. So I'm just going to be throwing this server away, so I don't have to worry about showing the internet. Okay. And then the other way we could have done this, so I'll switch to relay. The other relay is we could have just went into our little piece of paper. Actually, we can just delete that and done it in here, which would have been a little bit more convenient since I have to do it twice. All right, address, boom, boom, boom. Looks good. So you don't touch this, you leave this. That is the main relay that you actually sync up to for the very first time, and you end up talking to it. Maybe they switch it up. Maybe it wouldn't actually. Maybe for load balancing, you might not talk to it later on. I'm not sure, because it might be just the onboarding server. So yeah, we've switched this over. We hit paste. But I'm going to go back in and double check anyways. So mainnet topology.json. Okay, and put in a password. Okay, that is my block producer, right? Everything's right. They have a comma right there. That's perfect. All right, so Command X. We're out of there. We're done. All right, move on. So number 6, that was my last video. We'll skip past number 6. Create your startup scripts. So let's do the relay tab first. So quickly describe. So these ones you don't have to change nothing. So you just plonk them in, paste, done. Relay, paste, done, and then block producer. Copy that. Whoops. I gotta make sure I switch these tabs, or I'm gonna get very interesting results. Alright, then block producer, copy that. We're still on the block producer. Okay. Relay, copy that. And relay again. Okay. I'm not going to read through these. I don't want to make it a super long video. All right. But like I said, you actually don't need to change anything. So, but it's good to, you should read everything when, be very familiar with what you're doing. Take your time building your nodes. Like, you don't need to have your nodes up in one day, man. Just take your time. Okay. This step is for all 3. I usually wouldn't do it this way. I would probably build them line by line, one at a time. But since we are trying to go as quick as possible, Okay, we've done these two. Okay. So I just have to quickly read what that was going to do to our system. They have added some extra steps in here for Debian based, so I just want to make sure I didn't accidentally do it. Okay, these ones you don't have to do. These are just telling you how to start your service, how to restart it, how to stop it, how to look at your logs. Okay, so to start them, all right, so for the block producer, you just run this. So we'll start it up and paste. And then your relay nodes, copy that, go to your relay, and paste. Go to your relay, and paste. Okay. Installing GLive. Okay, so you install this on all of them. Let's just start on this one. I find this step sometimes doesn't work. Okay. If your GLive doesn't work, repeat these next two steps. That's my only advice I can give you. Sometimes, okay, see, I got this error file, right there. I got this guy right here, can't read. Okay, I don't know why. I haven't deep dived into why this doesn't work. So just repeat this step, okay, and then do this, and this time it worked. Who knows? I don't know. It's strange, but just so an FYI, I couldn't figure it out the first time when it broke on me. So, well, I did figure it out pretty quick, but it was weird. Okay, again, it didn't work. Strange. In the comments, if you're smarter than me, which is probably everyone watching this video, yeah, if you figured out why that breaks, go ahead and tell us. That'd be great. Okay. Yeah, it breaks every time. Okay, well, that's good. Last time I made a video and I said sometimes it breaks, it didn't break. And so it's like when you take your dog to the doctor with a cough and he doesn't cough when he's at the doctor's. All right, so you don't have to do this. No, you don't have to do that. Okay, this is how you run it. Go ahead and hit run. Here, start them all. Well, they're already started. This is just a monitoring tool, so yeah, my bad. But I'm starting them all anyways. Okay. Okay. You know, you did a good job if it says syncing, okay? If it says starting, you screwed up. Like if it kind of like gets hung, it's not your fault. You know, sometimes these things happen. You maybe just missed like one little step somewhere. So you want it to say syncing, okay? So this is good. So this will only take 8 to 12 hours. So please make sure you stick around and watch all 12 hours of this video. No, okay, so we're gonna... I'm just looking to see how much more of this I can really show. And maybe I'll just run through like... Okay, so if you watched the last... I'm just going to run through... just going to kind of walk you through these next steps. Because it's pretty much impossible for me to show you how to interact with your air gap machine and whatnot. So the process is what you're going to do now is you're going to generate. So the first thing you're going to do once all three of these are synced up, okay, they're going to be synced up, and you're going to have three three working Cardano nodes. Now they're not going to produce blocks or nothing because they're not recognized as official nodes. You haven't built keys, you haven't registered the nodes, any of that stuff. But essentially, your blocks are synced up, and they're going to stay synced up. They're going to they're downloading the blockchain and keeping it up to date. You're making a database file of the blockchain. So once these are synced up, but it'll take 8 to 12 hours. Okay, you've come back like tomorrow morning, and you want to take your servers live. Okay, I'm just gonna take you through these. Okay, so on your block producer node, you're gonna run this. Okay, it's gonna generate. It's gonna make a folder, node home, and it's gonna generate these two files. Okay, it's gonna generate a keys.b key and a keys.s key. Okay, the keys.s key is actually gonna live on the server. This keys.v key, you're going to actually move that to your air gap machine, but they'll tell you that in a second. But there's only three keys that actually stay on your block node. Only, these three right here. Okay, these are the only three that actually will stay on your block producing node. Now you're going to generate more during this tutorial, but you're going to move them off. And so in my last video, I showed you how to install Filezilla. And so you're going to be at so this is my workstation, right? And I'm going to install Filezilla on Ubuntu. I'm going to access, like I am right now, I'm accessing my 3 servers. But I'm going to use Filezilla, and I'm going to download the keys that I'm supposed to and take them off the producer. And I'm going to put them on a USB key, and then I'm going to take the USB key from this workstation over to my air gap machine, which is not connected to the internet. All right. So you're going to, on your block producer, you're going to produce these 2 keys. Okay. Then on your air gap machine, you're just making some directories. That's all you're doing. Okay. So you're making a cold keys directory. So when you take your USB key, you're going to drop them into this cold keys directory, and essentially you're going to work in this cold keys directory. And this would make sure that this won't work unless you've already moved the binaries. You need to move the Cardano CLL binaries over to the local bin. That's also in my last video, so make sure you check that out. Okay, so on the air gap machine, because on the air gap machine, it also has software on it. It has the Cardano CLI, the Cardano command line interface, and so it is going to generate some keys over there. Okay, so it's going to generate the node key, this key, and this counter. Okay, operational certificate issue counter. Okay, so then the S keys come back to the production. So this is going to get moved to production, but you're on your air gap machine. You run this step, and then you're gonna it's probably gonna tell us we're gonna put this guy on a USB and bring it back. So you're gonna go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. When you're taking your servers live, it doesn't take too long, but take your time. Take your time. Make sure there is nobody bothering you. Just take your time, because you're gonna end up transferring ADA to your server, and don't be scared. This is a very excellent tutorial, but go through it slowly. Take your time. Okay. Now another thing is, read everything when you're doing these. From here on out. From 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all these different steps above, we just kind of like copy paste, copy paste, copy paste. Now we're starting to get into the serious part, and you need to read. Okay. So back up all your keys. All right. So go buy yourself 3, 4 USB sticks. And make copies of all these keys that you were making. Make 4 copies of them. Store them in 4 different places. Okay, they're important. If you don't have these keys, and you want to go move your money off of your server at some point, or you want to retire your server, or you want to collect your rewards, all these things, you can't run the server without the keys. So do not have one set of keys. Like, do not just have the keys on this workstation. You shouldn't even keep the keys on this workstation. And just one other thing is you should have two-factor authentication. Google on every machine, your Gmail, your DigitalOcean account, everything. Okay, you are a node operator. You need to be super secure. And Charles Hodgkins also has a really awesome video. If I can find it, I'll put a link in the description. He has about an hour video if you check out his channel, teaching you about security. And I advise everyone should watch it. Developing a security mindset. Okay, so you run this on so these next steps is there's going to be it's going to do some calculations. So it's kind of like it wants to make sure you're fully synced up. And so run this step on your block producer node, run this step on your block producer node, run this step on your block producer node. And then with this calculation, you can now so this calculation is saved in your on your computer. It saves it in a variable, so it's not something you have to save manually. So run these next 3 steps, and then you're going to copy that KES V key to your cold environment. Okay. And here, this step here, it's going to echo, it's going to give you this value that you've done. Okay. So once you've done these 3 steps, it's going to output something on the screen, and you need to write that down on a piece of paper. Okay. Copy your KES V key to your cold environment. And then on here, you're going to run this step. All right. But on this step right here, you're going to change. What you wrote down on paper, you're going to put it in here. So again, maybe copy this to a text document, change it, and then run it. Okay. What it's going to do is it's going to output a file. And so you're going to end up doing this a lot. You're going to do a calculation. You're going to do some type of a thing on one of them, and then you're going to send the file. You're going to USB. You're going to download it, Filezilla, put it on USB, take it to your hot environment, upload it, do the same thing. So you get used to it. It takes a while. It's a little bit tedious, but you must do it this way. So now you're on your air gap machine. You've put in this number, right? And it's going to output this guy. So now you got to take this guy and you got to upload him to your hot environment. Okay. Drop him in the. You drop them in the Cardano node folder. So it's the CD cache node _home. So make sure you're just in that folder when you're dropping it in. Okay. Then on your block producer, you're going to make some more keys. Now you're making the VRF key pair. So you're going to make this. It's going to output this. All right. You're going to change permissions of this guy. You're going to stop your block producer node. Okay, if you haven't changed, you just run this one, because as long as you have these 3 guys now, make sure you have these 3 guys in that folder. When you run this command, it's fine. Okay, so you're going to run this command. You're going to update your script with this. And then you're going to restart your block producer. Okay. All right, next after this, now you're going to... So you need to give it a few. It says wait for the block producer to start syncing before continuing if you get this error. So when you start it back up, and if you try to do something and you get an error, then just wait a minute and then try to do this step again. All right, so now you're going to set up some payment and staking keys. Okay. So these are your actual addresses well, no, it's not the address. It's just the keys to set up. And then you're going to, from the keys, you're going to set up the addresses. All right. So on your block producer, you're going to run this guy. It's going to output this guy. For me, I use the CLL method. I didn't use the mnemonic. It's all entirely up to you how to do it. Okay. On the air gap machine, you are going to your node home and you're generating these two guys. All right. Then once you've generated this, on your air gap machine, you generate these two guys. You can also, no. Okay. Then you're going to so essentially you just, on your air gap machine, you're doing this step, this step, this step, and it's going to give you a staking address, and then you're going to do this step. Okay. So from these 4 steps, it's going to give you a staking address. It's going to give you outputs. Okay. So now you need to fund your payment address. So you are going to now take the payment address and copy it to your hot environment. And then, so then it's telling you to cat, which just means to print it out on the screen so you can see it. And then, so it's going to give you an address. So from that address, this is going to be an ADA address. You need to go to your wallet, your Yoroi wallet or your Daedalus wallet, and you need to send money to this address. Okay, so I know that seems maybe a little spooky, a little scary, because you're just kind of like, you're sending it out there, but hey, this is how you set up a node. Okay, so you need to send some money to the address. If you're really scared, send 500 ADA. When I set up mine, 500 ADA was only $100. Well, I guess it's like $600 now, but hey, right now I got 50,000 staked on my server. So, and there's lots of people that have 1 million and 10 million. So those guys must be, you got to be real confident. All right. So at this point, so you've sent the money to this address. So the money is in this address. This is a wallet that's on the blockchain, right? You'll have access to it. Don't worry. And next step is, so this step here, let's double check in. So, after, you got to wait a few minutes, maybe. And then you do this step and you'll actually see the money, in this address. All right. You'll see a transaction that looks like this. And it'll actually show you the Lovelace value. Lovelace is like, how much is Lovelace? Is it 10? I think it's 100 million for each ADA. No, I don't know. Don't quote me. Okay. Your next step, on your air gap machine. So now you're going to register your, so this is, your payment address is kind of like this is kind of like your main wallet, and then your staking address is, I believe, is a separate address for your pledge. I think you move money from your, if I remember correctly, I think you end up moving money from your payment address to your staking address. I do believe. Okay. So back on your air gap machine, you're creating a staking certificate and a staking V key. Copy the certificate. Okay. Copy your certificate to your hot environment. So you need to run this step on your block, and it's going to spit out this value. Write that value down. Find your balance. So you just can run this step because it'll already have this information it grabs the information from, so you don't need to like manually change anything in here. Where's the current slot? Hang on a second. Current slot. No, yeah. Current slot. Oh, this is a variable also, so it'll know. So yeah, you don't have to do any calculations. You don't have to do any manual calculations. So run that step, and then find the deposit value key. Deposit value. Okay, so this is like, did they change this? It used to be like 2 million Lovelace. How much is that? Not sure. They might have lowered that. So this, you're going to lose this, but this isn't that too much, I don't think. Before it was 500 ADA to register, but since ADA price went up, so this is 200 ADA, or is it 2 ADA? Ah, geez, no. Wouldn't be 200. I'm not sure. Maybe afterwards I'll figure out what a Lovelace is. Okay. Okay, so run this. It's going to output a temporary file. Okay. Run this step. So what it's doing, it's figuring out. You don't have to write it down. It's putting these files into temporary variables, and it's going to figure out how much you have to pay. Okay, so you can just run this step, run this step, run this step, run this step. Okay, once it's all done, now you take this TX raw, and you have to send it to, you're gonna have to move it to your cold environment. So what it's done here is we've made a transaction. So we're going to register our staking address. And so we're sending a transaction raw file to our cold environment. And what we're going to do is on the cold environment, we're going to sign it. It's like a digital signature. And then that file will come back, and we'll submit that file to the blockchain. Okay. So you're just going to send this text raw to your cold environment. So Filezilla, put it on USB, send it to your cold environment, drop it on your cold environment. I just drop everything in that cold keys file. I mean that cold keys directory, and I just run everything from that cold keys directory. All right. So then you just run this step, and you got to make sure that these guys are all in that folder, but they will be at this point. And you're going to output this TX signed. Okay, so this is a signed transaction. So now you're going to send that to your hot environment, and then you're going to run it, and boom, you've submitted that transaction. Okay, so this was all for number 11 was registering your stake address. Okay, so that just registers your address to the blockchain. All right, now we are going to register your stake pool. So on your block producer, go ahead and create a JSON file, end of file, name, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So go ahead and copy this one and send it over here. Do we already at this point, you're creating this, cat produces it, end of file. So okay, so you are creating it at the same time as you're printing it out. Okay, so so go ahead and change your name of your pool, put in a description, put in your ticker that you're going to check. All right, so my current pool is learn. Okay, so I'm just going to tell you my little quick sad story. And so in November, December, I started planning to build a node, and I was, taking my time and checking the different node names, and that there was only about 800 or so at that time. And so you go to adapools.org. No, go, stupid. Just go. Stupid. What's with this dumb, like spammy? Okay. It doesn't like being. Okay, I'm gonna have to extend this out. Okay. So figure out what your ticker name is going to be, and right before you put it in, go double check to make sure no one's registered it right before you. Because I was going to register, I did register the name Solar, but I never checked. I, had looked for months. No one was using the name Solar ever. And I finally went and built my pool, and I registered and lo and behold, click on Solar, and this is not mine. Some guys in, I think it's like Norway or something, they had registered right before me. A good day before me, but still. So so essentially it's first come, first serve. So it will actually let you, when this is Ada Pools, this is a third-party website, so it will let you, when you register, when you're doing these steps and picking a pool name and stuff, and you can register it, and you can have duplicates. But when somebody goes to search yours from the wallet, say someone's going to delegate and they put in Solar, it's always going to kick out the guy who registered first. Like, so it will be harder to find my Solar pool. So I actually did do a Solar pool, but you have to do Solar and a C, and boom. All right. So that was actually my first pool, and it's still live. I'm going to make a video how to take the money off and how to do updates, and it is a live pool. It's me, and I have 3 delegators. Hey guys, move your money. So it's not very much money. I'm sure this might be me and my partner, or some random person. I'm not sure. It's not very much money. It's, I only put 500 ADA. I was a little bit scared, so I was like, oh, I'm just gonna send over 500 ADA. And then obviously somebody else found this server and decided. So we had a website done. We had everything done. So I was a little bit heartbroken. So I called up my partner. I apologized that I was a little bit too slow. And we went back to the drawing board. So now I have Learn. And once I'd done, Solar, I was a little bit scared of these different steps. There were so many of these things, but it's not that hard. You're just moving, just go through this tutorial slowly. It's really not that hard. So this one I put 50,000 ADA on it, and again, we only have 3 delegators. Until you get about 250,000, you're not going to really start minting blocks. We might mint 1 block just by luck. So the more ADA you have, the more luck you have, or the more chance that you're going to mint a block. So right now, people have, lots of people, the full nodes have 60 million. It will get half down to 32 million pretty soon, but even then, it doesn't matter. Until you have about 250,000 ADA, you'll start randomly minting blocks, maybe 1 block every 3 or 4 epochs, which would be okay. You would actually, if you're minting a block and it's only your money on the server, then you're going to be actually making a lot of money. But once you have about 1 million to 5 million, then your node is going to start being used a lot more. So right now my node's small. We have no delegators. So if you're not going to be building your node right away, go ahead and support the channel. Come join us at Learn. All right, so that was my sad story. Back to the thing. So just make sure when you're setting this ticker up, go quickly check adapools.com. Yeah, you can also check the other one, pooltools.io, I think it is, but I just use the Adapools one. Just make sure no one's taking it. Okay, so you just put it in, and so let's say we wanted to do beer. So just check Yep, someone's already taken beer. All right, so you don't want to do beer because you won't be first. You know, when someone does a search, these guys will always show up first. Okay, so let's say your name is Frank, and so you want to make the Frank node. And boom, search result, nobody's used Frank. Okay, so you could make the Frank node. Bingo, done. So just make sure when you're setting it up that you aren't making a node that someone else has already made. Like I said, it still works, but you're just going to have conflicts when you're in the wallets, because each of the wallets there's a tab that so that when you're staking, the money never leaves your wallet. Okay, it just, you're delegating your vote. That's all you're doing. So you're saying, hey, I support this pool. I'm sending my 50,000 ADA, essentially my voting power for this 50,000 ADA, and I'm giving it to the pool to control, and that's it. It's just a vote, okay? They do not have your money. You never send your money. It is a little bit, there is a transaction fee, maybe like, it's really cheap. It's not very much. So each time you move your money from one pool to the next, there is a slight transaction fee. I think it's like maybe like 0.2 of an ADA, I think maybe 1.17. I can't remember. I haven't done it in a while. So there is a slight transaction fee when you do move your money, but it's not very much. It's probably like 25 cents or 50 cents or something in real money. Okay. So we're back here. So registering your pool, fill out this. It's going to produce this JSON file. Again, a JSON file is just a config file. Okay. So you need to have a website now, and you're going to need to upload this JSON file to your website. So can I show you an example? Okay. I'm not sure if you can actually see it though. I didn't prepare for this one. What is my website? I haven't been there in a while. Learnstaking.org, and then /pool.json. Will that work? Will that show anything? No, it's not going to like it. But anyways, this pool.json file, you are going to go to your web server and you're going to drop it. If you don't know how to do this step, I'm sorry, I can't really help you with that, but you're going to need to upload this to your website, and you actually drop it on the back end, and you drop it into your HTML folder on your website. So before you can register, you actually do need to do this step. So once you have this JSON file, okay, so you're gonna fill out you're gonna fill this out. You're gonna run it on your block producer node, and you're gonna run this step. And it's actually, again, now it says here, now upload to your public meta. So you have to take this file and you have to upload it. Okay, so here's some instructions how to do it. And if you don't know how to do it, or you can actually even upload it to GitHub. So you can make a GitHub page, and so they give you instructions how to make a quick GitHub page. So if you don't have time to make a website, so a GitHub page is just going to be a public website. So that's cool. Just follow this instructions and it'll be fine. All right. So next you're going to run. It's going to give you a minimum cost. Okay, here it is here. So don't change this step. The minimum cost right now is 340 ADA. This is not, so each time there's every 5 days there's an epoch, and at the end of the epoch, you divvy up the rewards, and before you divvy up the rewards, 340 goes to your pool. This is just like a maintenance cost, okay? And this will probably be lowered pretty soon because as ADA's price goes up. So this is just to support your, so this, you don't change this. This is the minimum. Keep it at the minimum. Everyone's at the minimum. So if we go back to ADA pools, learn So you see here, fixed cost 340 ADA. So everyone has that. You can change it. You can make it more if you want, but you also will make margin. So you'll see most people have theirs set to 0 right now. I probably should set mine to 0 too, but it actually doesn't really cost much. Like you as a node operator make a lot more money when you have some margin. So say if there was a, 10,000 block rewards, 10,000 ADA in block rewards, then 3% of that, so 340 would come off the top, and then another 3% of that 10,000 would come off the top. And then the rest of those block rewards would be divided out to the delegators. So it's actually quite small, the difference to the delegators. When you say if you have a margin 0 and a margin 3, it's almost minute. They don't really know any difference. So this ranges, people are ranging this right now from 0 to 5. I probably should have it at 0, but I'll make a video how to switch it from 3 to 0. So if I maybe for you, when you're setting up your thing, you should set it at 0 when you start. Okay, so this is just, you run this step. So each time you run these steps, you don't have to worry about writing this stuff down, because it's saving all this into these variables. And so pretty much just cruise along. Which step are we doing here? You don't need to resubmit every time your IP changes. Oh, well, okay. What? Okay, you want to make sure your IP is static. And by going, we're IP based. We're not doing DNS. Our IP is not changing. That's another reason why I use DigitalOcean, is they have a static IP as default. You don't have to pay extra or nothing for it. Sorry. I just haven't looked at these steps in a while. Okay, so for static, IP 1 entry per. Hang on, what is this one? How to set up, how to configure multiple relay nodes. Update the next operation to be run on the air gap. What is this step? How to configure multiple relay nodes. And this is supposed to be done. You're on your block producer here. Create a registration certificate, blah, 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 blah. Choose one of the following. Okay, well, we're going to run this one. So copy this, put it over here. Change this to your first relay's IP. Change this to your second relay's IP, right? So these slashes, you need them at the end, so that make sure that you don't accidentally remove those. And actually, you probably wouldn't need that one, but it doesn't matter. Just leave it there. Then once you've changed your 2 IPs of your relays, so you're putting your IP address right here. I'll just put it just so you can see. So for us, it would be 159.89.38.99. All right, so it just should look like that. And then 159.89.38.38. Double check that you're not a bad typer like me. Boom, boom, boom. All right, so you take this and you would. I'm not sure about this step. I don't know about this step. It doesn't make sense to me. This whole step does not make sense to me. I know I'd probably skip this step. I just not getting where they're coming from. Okay. update your metadata URL and your relay node information. But you can't just run this step. Okay, so this is going to get added into this. Let's copy this and have a look. Hang on a second. Okay, I get it. I think they just changed that. I don't know. They made it way more confusing. It wasn't that confusing the last time I looked at it. Okay. Blah 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 blah. Okay. Okay. Yes. Okay. So this key. Your pledge. Okay, so you need to update your how much your pledge is going to be. Your margin. So you don't want it to be 15%. So you could make it 0. Pool cost. This is usually 340. I don't know why it says 345. Okay, so here, we know that's 340. So how many? So there's 1 million Lovelace per ADA. Okay, so we know that 340 is the pool cost. So 1 million Lovelace per ADA, which makes sense, but I couldn't quite remember. Again, too many margaritas. Okay, so 1 million equals 1 ADA. Okay. So this person is only pledging 100. So you definitely want to pledge a lot more than 100. If this is a pool that you're going to retire, you're going to practice on, you could do 100 if you want. I think you can actually do 0. I think 0 is allowed, but anyways, so whatever you're going to have to, so that once it in Lovelace, so say if you're going to do 2,000, you would add 20 to this. So 6 zeros, okay, so 2,000 would be 2,000 ADA. So if that's the amount that you sent, you also need to send the 200 ADA to, is it 200 ADA? Sorry, okay, we're on this step here. I'm going to go back to that other step. Where's that other step that the payment, we sent money. Where's the step where we sent money? Set up payment. We set it up, and then it tells us we have to fund it, right? Copy this, copy that, and then you're going to fund it. Yeah, this was the run the following, and then here you're supposed to fund it. And then when you register, it tells you that it costs here. Okay, so now, what? Registering only costs 2 ADA. Dude, they charged me like 100 ADA. No, 200 ADA. 500 ADA. They used to say, what? Dude, I gotta check this. I want a refund. It's only 2 ADA now to register? What? Well, I guess that's good for you guys. Literally, I swear I paid 500 ADA to register both of my pools. 500 each. Anyways, whatever. Alright, so yeah, you also need to make sure that you sent this key deposit, but it figures it all out for you. Okay, so pool margin, blah, blah, blah. This key. Okay. So here is where you're going to take this. All right. You're going to take that. Okay. You're going to take this, copy it, and you're going to go over top of that. Okay. Make sure you got those slashes. You need to slash the backslash after each of these lines. So make sure you're not missing one. Okay. Then the URL has to be put in right here. The metadata URL has to go here. Now, do they want... They just want the URL, but do they also want... I'm wondering if they want HTTP, like learn staking.org, just like that, or are they also wanting the pool metadata.json? Metadata URL. I think they're going to want the whole thing. So I always do this. Again, I like to try and copy paste whenever you can. So go ahead and grab that, copy that, put that in here. Just make sure you don't do like the wrong slashes, because I always do the wrong. I'm going to paste it. Okay, so yeah, see, I had the slashes backwards. Sorry. Okay, so then you also need to add to that. And if it throws you an error, then you just fix it, right? Is it back here? Have I gone back too far? Yeah, I think I have. Yeah, it was way after this step. Okay. Wasn't it? Register your pool. Yeah. So you want to grab that, copy, and then plonk that at the end there. Okay, should look like that. Okay. Because now when you run this, if you have it wrong, I can't run it because I'm just running through this with you, just talking you through this. But if you do run this step, like when you're on your air gap machine, you're going to run this. You know, if it is any syntax is wrong, it's gonna tell you. Okay, so you might have to maybe remove that, but I don't think so. Anyways, so now that you've changed that, so that's what this step was. I'm sorry I didn't quite figure it out right away, but so what they're saying is for this step here, if you're doing a DNS or a round robin DNS, which if for this tutorial, if you're following my tutorial and we're using DigitalOcean, we are not doing this. We are doing IP based. They're static. They never change. So go ahead, copy this, put it over here, change that, put in your relay 1 and relay 2, copy that, and you're going over top of that. Okay? And it should look like this. And yeah, then you're going to copy this, and on your air gap machine, it's going to output this guy here, pool.cert. All right, it's a pool certificate. You're going to copy the pool certificate to your hot environment, and then on your air gap machine, you are pledge stake to your pool. And so run that one, and also based on what you've done here and the amount you put in, it's going to know. Okay, so you don't have to like type it out. But again, so the pool certificate, so do these two steps first, and then copy the pool certificate and the DELEGATE certificate to your hot environment. If you don't understand what the pledge is, then you probably shouldn't be watching this tutorial. Okay, and you need to find the tip of the, so just run this step. It's going to find the current slot for you. Go ahead and run this step. Run this step. Run this step. Boom. It's going to output. So it's done a bunch of calculations, but it's going to output this transaction again, a temporary transaction. Go ahead and click this step. Run this step. Run this step. Okay. Now it's going to give you this tx.raw. You're going to transfer the tx raw to your cold environment again. Now you've already used, this is just a temporary file. So when you it's going to you've already spit this file out once before. So it's going to override it. And when you copy, like when you Filezilla this right now to your workstation, and then you're gonna get that pop up. Hey, do you want to keep this version, or you want to keep the old version, or do you want to keep both versions? Yes, you want to overwrite, because you're just overwriting a temporary file from that. Before, they just didn't change the name. You don't need to change the name, so you are overwriting it when you get that pop up. So copy this over, get it over to your cold environment, Filezilla to the USB to your cold environment, drop it onto your cold environment. Then run this guy on your cold environment. It's going to spit out the signed transaction. Again, when you copy this signed transaction to back to your USB, you're going to get that pop up. Hey, you've already got this file on this USB. Yes, you're overwriting it. You don't need that transaction anymore. That you've already run that previous transaction. It's already on the blockchain, so you don't. So you're taking this signed transaction, you're putting it back onto your block producer node, and you're running this step, which prints it to the blockchain. All right, cool. All right, so you're almost done. You almost have a registered node. Okay, you're almost done. So on your air-gapped machine, run this step, copy this text file to your hot environment. On your hot environment, run this step. A non-empty string return means you are registered. Okay. Can't remember what that step looks like. I'm trying to think what a non-empty string return means. So if you just run it, anyways, run this step on your air gap, take this, run this step, and then just wait a few minutes, and then just go to ADA pools and see if you can see your pool. You should be able to see it. All right. All right. Next. So you've registered. You'll be able to see, you give it a few minutes, but you'll be able to see that you've pledged this amount. You might not have the check mark yet. Don't worry. Maybe there needs to be a few more blocks printed or minted for confirmations, but eventually it will pop up. Okay, so don't sweat that too much. But you'll see everything. You'll see. Oh, it's my bad. That's where I made a subdomain. I totally forgot. Still, can I see the pool? I don't know if I can see that pool. Where is it? Pool. I'm not sure if it pops up or not. I want to see if I can see it. Copy. Yeah. Okay. It helps if I remember my website. Okay. So yeah, here's a perfect example of the pool metadata JSON. So, and you see all this information that's right here. This is where ADA, ADA pools, they go to your website, they scrape it off your website, and then, it's nothing special. So you can update this and change it, and then it would update on here. You can also, when you add your social media and stuff, you actually have to change this pool metadata JSON. That's actually probably another video, so I'll do that in another video. But yeah, so if you want to update your social media, you'll see on here, if you search other people's pools, they'll have all their Facebooks and their Telegram and everything else. But you have to have an advanced pool metadata JSON, and I just have the basic one right now. So you just have to add a bunch of lines. So that's all you have to do. Okay, it would help if I remembered. Okay, so all this information is actually it's just scraping it from your website and whatnot. So after you're done, you are going to see, you're going to see that you're registered, you've paid, you're all registered. Now, this next one is, you need to configure your topology files. So essentially what this is you're registered, but right now, really no one's really seeing you, like the main, you're part of the the relay, but you need to register your relay nodes and kind of like spread the word. Hey, we're live now, and so the other relay nodes can all talk to you. Okay, if that makes sense. So it's like DNS, like when you set up a new website, or when you switch your website's IP, and it takes 3 to 4 hours or so before everyone gets the information. All the DNS servers around the internet kind of get the updated information that your website's moved. Same thing here. So you're kind of like, this is kind of like DNS. Anyways, blah 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 blah. So on the relay, okay, so this is on relay 1, because you remember your block producer node doesn't actually, it only connects to your relays. Okay, so on relay 1, this is important, not relay 2, on relay 1, you are going to create this file, and you can actually just copy and paste this. You don't have to change a single thing. And then you are going to run this step, and what's going to happen is you need to let this run for about 4 hours. I think they tell you in here that you need to let it run for 4 hours. So this step, this step, this step. Yeah, here it is here. After 4 hours and 4 updates. Why would there be 4 updates? Oh, because it's running. Okay, so this. Okay, I don't know if you know what a cron job is, but a cron job is like a job that it's kind of like a job that you set up to run every day or every hour or every week. So it's just so they've set up a cron job here. So run this step, and then you're running this step, and then essentially wait 4 hours, and then after 4 hours, right? After 4 hours, your node IP be registered. Okay, so after 4 hours, what's going to happen is your relay 1's IP has kind of been propagated around to the other relay nodes, and so you're kind of like part of the club now. And then you're going to create. You need to change. So this is another one of those ones where you need to. Go ahead and change your IP here of your block. Hang on a second. Let me look at this for a second. Yeah, okay. Okay. So this is on your relay node. Don't worry, they're not going to see it. No one's going to see it. So you're going to put in your block IP, then you're going to run this. And I kind of said it before in all the other tutorials, just never change these ports. Just keep them at 6,000. You never need to change them. Don't be fancy. If you get fancy, you're just going to end up breaking your nodes. Okay. So yeah, so for this step here, you just need to quickly put in your block IP, block producer IP. And so take out these, whenever you see these little, I don't know, funny brackets, you overwrite them. So where's our producer? So 159 89 38 102. So I would copy this, and we're on our relay 1 when we're doing these steps. Okay, so go ahead and do that, do this step, and do this step, and go ahead after you're restarting your node. Go ahead and I'd go restart node. I'd actually go restart all 3 of my nodes at this point. So restart relay 1, restart relay 2, and go ahead and just restart your block producer. It's not a big deal. And then be patient. Make sure you let this do its full 4 hours. You could even let it do a 5th hour. Just be patient. Just be patient. Don't rush anything. You're just gonna pull at your hair if you try and cut it to 3 hours. Yeah, make sure you do the full 4 hours, please. Okay, critical step. Okay, so remember when we were back here? So right now, you see how it says 0, so these need to be, make sure that these are actually moving. It might take a second for it to sync up. Again, be patient. Don't restart the node and expect it just to work super, super fast. Just wait a few minutes, wait 10 minutes, wait 30 minutes. Like, secret to being successful with Linux is just let it kind of resolve things itself. It's not like Windows. Linux is very robust, and it will resolve it. So you these need to be updating. If these are not updating, you've done something wrong. Okay. So, and you'll also see once you've done the 4 hours, are we on a relay? No, this is block producer. So you'd be on a relay, but the relays are talking to your block producer. So these should be updating on all three. Okay. But we were, working on relay 1 when we're doing these steps, and now we've restarted them. And so now you should essentially be, processing transactions, right? Okay. And then on the block producer, so these are the 3 guys. Write this down. These are the 3 keys which stay on the block producer node, okay? Only these 3 keys. Okay, yeah. So only these 3 keys. So if there's any other key, like a V key, or anything else, or I don't know, like a pool certificate, whatever, any other keys or certificates that are still in that Cardano node folder that you've been working in, the node home folder, you have to make a copy of them. So Filezilla them to your USB, to another USB, make copies of them, lots of copies, and only keep these 3 on there. And you can copy these ones too. There's nothing wrong with that, but these are the only 3 that live on your block producer node. Okay, very important. If you leave your other keys on your block producer node, you might lose all your money. So do not do that. Okay, they have all these critical on fire. Again, also your relay nodes never have any keys on them. Okay, boom, done. All right, so that's the video. I think I've blabbed on long enough. I'm sure most of you guys already tuned off. Thanks for watching, guys. Smash the like button, and I'll see you next time for some more Cardano node operator videos. Let me know in the comments if there's a certain place you get stuck, or if there's a video you want next. I'm going to be popping out lots of videos quickly here now. I have set up a new office, and I'm off vacation mode, so you'll be seeing lots more of me. All right, guys, take care.